This essay example, as well as thousands of others, is available in text format on our website for free and without registration. Simply Google Ivy Panda Free Essays.
Introduction. The essay is a critical examination of the advantages and disadvantages of dewatering techniques. The various techniques analyzed in the essay are general sump pumping, open dewatering, well points, deep well and submersible, ground freezing, and electro-osmosis. Dewatering typically refers to the act of removing water from solid materials or even soils. This is done mainly by classification, centrifugation, filtration, or similar solid-liquid separation processes. In construction, it refers to removing or draining water either found under the ground or on the Earth's surface from the place of construction, riverbeds, or mine shafts, among other related works. All the mentioned techniques of dewatering do have advantages as well as disadvantages. General sump pumping. Generally speaking, sump pumping has been used by individuals to remove water from their houses or compounds. The pumps are less noisy. For instance, submersible sump pumps are quieter when under operation. Additionally, there is a provision in which it turns on automatically provided that water has reached a certain level. On the same note, the way the pumps have been built ensures that when there is a need for repairing, then it does not require a lot of labor, and also it is less expensive. The automation mechanism makes the technique more reliable. The method works well in tight soils having fine grain as well as coarse and boulder deposits. However, the problem with this technique is that it only pumps water that is not solid. Another drawback of using the general sump pumping technique is that the amount of water removed entirely depends on how reliable is the pump as well as the supply of power. This can be a problem when the latter is in short supply. Sump dewatering is also characterized by backfilling that hinders construction works as it compromises the subgrade substrate. Open dewatering. As suggested by Powers, 1992, it is applicable in situations where one wishes to bring down the level of the groundwater table where the soils are cohesive and have lower permeability. The technique can be temporarily installed and work well in the toughest environment, especially when gravel, sand, and other particles are present. It also works well in greater depths. Similarly, it has been noted that open dewatering is the simplest method of dewatering since it entails placing a suction hose and the water is then removed. It takes little space, and due to the ability to temporarily install them and is easy to remove, it can serve several areas or locations. The major limitation of this method is the lack of ability to be used in hard strata. Similarly, construction work cannot go on till the ground is completely dry and stable. Well points. The technique helps control the level of water in an aquifer. The advantage of this technique rests mostly in its ability to cut costs. Additionally, it is suitable for removing water from shallow excavations approximately 6.5 meters in stratified soils. This can also be seen as a disadvantage, especially when the excavations are deep than 7.0 meters. However, the provision of installing it in stages can address this problem. Additionally, the ability of the technique to perform better in a wide range of soils is an advantage. Well points also make it possible to have a much thicker width free from seepage forces. One major disadvantage of this technique is that it is somewhat expensive when compared to the sump pumping method. Deep well and submersible. Using this technique to remove water is effective as well as having a higher capacity. It is suitable in water that has no particles. Additionally, the maintenance of the equipment used is cheap and easy. Finally, it works well in deep wells greater than 80 feet or more. The major limitations or drawbacks of this technique are, impellers as well as diffusers cannot stand the presence of particles, for instance sand. Similarly, when the water is removed contains gases, it may lock the pump, and finally, the pump can malfunction if the well runs dry. Ground freezing. According to Harris, 1995, the technique uses heat transfer to stabilize the ground. Soil water is turned into ice. The advantages include that can be applied in any type of soil as well as varying groundwater conditions, and has no known long-term consequences on the subsurface environment. Additionally, the technique can be easily and completely removed, suitable for controlling water movement from one region to another only on a temporal basis, and it can completely cut off water. Lastly, it is the most effective method in situations where other techniques such as pumping cannot be attained. The ability to completely cut off water makes it possible for work to continue without worrying about seepage. One major disadvantage of this technique is that it uses a lot of energy in trying to maintain the frozen condition. Electro-osmosis. Unlike mechanical dewatering techniques, electro-osmosis dewatering has several advantages, which include: it can successfully remove water from sludge characterized by very fine particles as well as materials deemed to be gelatinous. The method is also very economical since it utilizes minimal power and yields tremendous results. In areas where the water being removed contains pathogens and bad smells, then the technique can help come up with high-quality biomass. Similarly, the equipment used in the process of dewatering is easy to use and maintain. Although it has the mentioned advantages, the technique cannot completely remove water in sludge since a discontinuous liquid state cut electric flow, hence stopping the electro-osmosis process. Did you like this advantages and disadvantages of dewatering techniques sample? To get more works like this one, make sure to check out the database of academic paper examples at ivpanda.com. You will find thousands of samples for all your study needs.